I want to invite Moyra to say hello and introduce herself and tell you a little bit about herself. Hi, Moyra.
Hi. Thank you for having me. Such a thrill. It's always wonderful to have a conversation with you. So thank you for having me here. My name is Moyra Gorski. I am a retired nurse, entrepreneur, and podcaster. I have been branded together with a natural wellness company for the last 22 years. So I help people live healthy lives. And I also mentor emerging entrepreneurs to have their own online wellness business. And during this journey of entrepreneurship in life, I also, we're going to talk about, have gone through a tremendous amount of stress and had to learn how to cope with that. And in the midst of life, in college, I recovered from an eating disorder, and my daughter has been on a 7-year journey of her own, where I stand by her side and cheer her on. But because of that, I started a podcast to share stories of hope and recovery, and my journey through watching a loved one on their recovery path. And so I do host that podcast, have for 2.5 years. And just really my message to everybody is that, we can live abundant, happy lives. If we have a smile and a little bit of juggling, we can just, again, live a good, abundant life. So really thrilled to be here to just have another conversation with you about this.
I know when we get on a roll, we get on a roll, and I promise y'all we're gonna try to keep it to, a nice condensed space. But man, sometimes we get in there and it's good and it's meaty. But right now, and we were talking a little bit beforehand about this, the funny phenomena of the holiday season, and how, right now we're sitting in that space where it's like, oh, we're going into the holiday season. And I always kind of chuckle because, that holiday season looks like, starting with Halloween, and then you go to, Thanksgiving, and then you have, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. And then, if you're listening and you do Hanukkah, then of course, you've got an extra week in there. But we're really looking at, very isolated days, right? Very isolated days, at best a week, right? And we truly get so immersed and so engulfed and so, overtaken by these things, right? So, I mean, I'm in awe, like social media, just all the things in every area of my life. Like September, people were already rolling out Halloween, and here we are. Yesterday was the 9th of October, depending on what day, but you're listening to this. I was at Home Depot, and they were playing Christmas carols and had all the Christmas stuff out, and a very small section for Halloween, like it had already been pilfered over. And I'm like, wait, like what's going on here? And then, so I was thinking about it. And as social beings, we tend to lean into this holiday season and we get really stressed out. So I was thinking about it, and really, we get down to it, we have, these spaces, but I was trying to think of a month where I don't hear from somebody that there is something going on, right? That is an I will, when, or if situation about improving their lifestyle, about reducing their stressors, about, getting into a life recovery journey of some sort, or just, in regular conversation, isn't feeling overwhelmed about something. Because if you look at it, we have New Year's in January, then there's Valentine's Day, March, there's St. Patrick's Day, then April, we have Easter, and we have tax season, then in May we have Mother's Day, and then June there's Father's Day, then there's summer, and then there's the 4th of July, and somewhere in there there's Memorial Day, And then we get into, back to school season, and then there's Labor Day, and then here we are again. There's just something all the time that is an added either stressor or excuse to put down our healthy behaviors, and an effective lifestyle, if you will, right? We give it up for the weekends, we give it up for the summer, whatever it is, there's always a something. And so I don't experience that in my life because I just don't operate that way. I kind of take things in stride, the week at a glance, I guess, if you will. Like today we're recording on what is a holiday, and I didn't even realize it was a holiday. I don't even know which holiday it is.
Yeah, Columbus Day. It is
Columbus Day,
yeah.
Right? And so again, there's just always something. And so we complain about the stressors, but then our coping doesn't mirror or look like something that says, I want my life to feel better, look better, be more calm and relaxed. Instead, we overeat so that we can self-loathe. We self-medicate with, anxiety pills or, whatever it is. Or we lean into the bottle of booze or, whatever it is, we're looking for that social outlet. We're just relying on things outside of ourselves to bring us peace, joy, comfort, relief.
Well, and this is, holidays. These things are supposed to be celebrated, right? It's supposed to be happy times.
Right.
When I was on a meditation last night, because it was a full moon, and she mentioned there's 83 days left of the year. So there's 83 days left. And like you said, there's a handful of days that are holidays, and it's supposed to be a happy, joyful time. And yet what ends up happening is that you hear the music, you make the list, your mother calls and says, we're coming for Thanksgiving. And then all of this stress. Again, I think it's that what I talk about so much is that choice that we make, that we can say, well, that's great. I'm looking forward to seeing my kids at Christmas time. Or, oh my gosh, then I'm going to have 6 people in the house, and I have to cook, and I have to clean, and then I have to meal prep, and I have to, it's like those choices that we make to, whatever we're going to choose, have that to be a stress, or to be like, okay, I guess I have to make some plans for that. But to sit in that place of like, wow, this is great. We talked to one of our sons last night. We talked about Thanksgiving and Christmas. Which one are you going to come in for? Okay, well, we'll see you at Christmas. It doesn't have to be a stressor. It can be like, wow, that's
I love that
great.
You said it gets to be a choice, because we do choose. We choose to go to that space of overwhelm, stress, pressure, right? I already did my Christmas shopping. Now I have to, or whatever it looks like. That constant need to shop, or, that financial stress we put on ourselves, or that, just that pressure to perform.
Well, I think it's that, like, it's that, like, we, as we've talked about this before, like, we jump right away to who are we going to take care of? And what does that mean? We got to take care of the kids and the family, but we don't say, okay, well, what do I need to do first, right? To take care of myself, what's needed for me before I start thinking about taking care of everybody else and every other responsibility that I have.
Yes. So the first thing that I like to do, and I don't know about you, but when, it's, when I'm presented with an event, or, a proposed gathering, or a proposed, I get to host, I like to say, either out loud or just inwardly, like, that sounds amazing. I have to, sit with, and then I sit with myself. Does that sound amazing? Does it feel amazing? Because I think we have that knee jerk. We say yes without actually thinking things through. Yes, that'll be great. And then we get to our calendar, or we have that instant remorse, like that instant dread that starts that now, oh God, I just committed to something. And so I think we need to go, wow, that sounds great. When do you need to know by? And then go and, I really want to make sure, like the day, the time, that all the things, really mesh for me. And so, I'd like to come back, and then I do, and I sit and I look, and my husband and I have been going back and forth for a few weeks now, because one of our grandchildren, he's 3.5, and every year we've taken him to the pumpkin patch. But every year we've also just had that opportunity to have him here with us for one of the weekends in October, right? Well, this October, our calendars aren't meshing, and they're not meshing with mom either. So between the three of us, nothing is meshing. And, we're just like, I don't know if we're going to be able to, make this happen this year for that. And so we're looking for alternatives. And, you kind of have to do that.
Well, and I think also, because I know my husband is somebody, like when we were in the midst of, I have 4 children, all of them but one are out of the house now, but the 3 boys played hockey. Our daughter was in marching band, and, between those schedules, it was so busy. And he would come home, bless his heart, he was the scheduler, and he'd stick the paper, no Google Calendar for him. He just put the paper on our pantry door and say, this is what's coming up. But so which was very helpful, because he'd say, well, I'm going to do Tuesday, I need you to do Thursday, and that kind of thing. So it was good to plan that out. But what I found with him, and he still is this way, he's always thinking about like next week. And I was like, dude, like that's next Thursday. Because he's like, what about next Thursday? I'm like, I don't know, today's Tuesday and we have some time, and it's that let's be present here. And I think that's what happens sometimes. This made me think of it when you were talking about the holidays, like Christmas. Well, Christmas is a ways away. So we can say that we're committing to things, but we don't have to like take on that angst today. I like what you said. You can look at your calendar and say, okay, if I have these people coming over, when should I start shopping? When should I start planning? And who can help me with this?